We're good. 2, 1. All right. Okay, hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration. Starting a few minutes behind schedule this morning because I spilled my beverage all over my desk here right before our meeting. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in and welcome. And yeah, I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And today we're here with another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. We're talking about marriage complications versus marriage fraud. Really, we're talking about marriage. All right? So marriage is a great topic. That's what we're here to discuss today. Thank you for being here, regardless of what platform you're on, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? So today we'll talk about marriage complications versus marriage fraud. As I'm talking, if you have a question about your situation, hey, feel free to send it over. I'll do my best to answer questions right here live. Okay? That's part of what this is all about. So I'll jump right into the basics. So the basics are that if immigration concludes that you entered a marriage solely for immigration purposes, then they call that marriage a sham marriage. All right? They call that marriage fraud. All right? If you got married solely to get papers, they call that marriage fraud. That can lead to deportation proceedings starting against you, which is why the best advice is to never enter a marriage solely for immigration purposes. That's a very bad idea. Not only can it initiate deportation proceedings against you, but it also bars you from ever benefiting from any other family petition for the rest of your life. Okay? However, it's also important to note that just because USCIS or ICE is alleging that there was marriage fraud doesn't mean that there necessarily was. All right? The government often gets this issue wrong. And so let's talk about some scenarios. So let's talk about 4 scenarios. Wait, lawyer, wait. What if we only lived together for 3 weeks before we started having marriage problems and then decided to separate? All right? But we didn't divorce because we had already filed the green card application and we wanted to see that through. All right? What if that's our situation? All right? But wait, lawyer, what if we never consummated our marriage? What if we never had sexual intercourse? Right? What then? All right? But wait, lawyer, what if we only knew each other for 10 days before deciding to get married? It was spontaneous. We had never even met before. All right? What then? What does immigration say about that? But wait, lawyer, what if he paid me money to marry him, to have me petition for his green card, and that's the only reason I accepted? All right? Are these things marriage fraud? Are they indicators that your case might get complicated? All right? The question is, well, I'll break it down. There's actually 2 questions that I always look at. The main question is, the primary question is, what was your intention at the time that you entered that marriage? Not what was your intention the day before or the day after or later on. It's what was your intention at the time that you entered the marriage. Was it solely to get a green card? Or was there some other purpose? Was there some other intention? Okay? So that's the primary question. The secondary question is, what evidence do we have to demonstrate that intention? What evidence might the government have against our stated intention? Okay? And so looking at those scenarios, each of those scenarios is what I would call a complication. All right? Each of those is a complication. The final one, if somebody actually paid you money to marry them, yeah, that doesn't look good. All right? That's potentially a problem. But even there, it's like, okay, let's really understand it. All right? Often in many cultures, right, there's a dowry where there's money exchanged at the time of marriage. And there might be, payment agreement to pay for the wedding ceremony, because there are costs involved with that, or agreement to pay the honeymoon, or agreement, regarding finances. There's always financial things at issue, agreements at issue in the marriage of two people. Okay? And so that doesn't necessarily indicate fraud, but if it was straight up a business deal, hey, you pay me money, I'll marry you and get you a green card, that's really bad. All right? That's not good. The immigration will jump on that and will allege that that's fraud. Most judges will agree that that's fraud. The other scenarios, you live together for 3 weeks, and then you had marital problems, decided to separate, you never consummated the marriage, you only knew each other for 10 days before deciding to get married. Those are complications. Immigration might jump on them. All right? They might grill us about that situation. But it's not conclusive. It's not like an absolute that those things will lead to a finding of quote-unquote marriage fraud. Okay? Why? Because again, the primary question is, the legal question is, what was your intention at the time you entered the marriage? Was it solely to get a green card? If it was solely, only to get a green card, that is marriage fraud. All right? If there is some other reason, right? Maybe you were attracted to this person. Maybe you hoped that it would work out. Maybe, maybe it was a marriage, even if it was like all business marriage, maybe the agreement is not just for immigration purposes. Maybe we're agreeing that we'll also take care of each other, for the next 10 years or something, or help each other with our taxes, or live together in separate rooms, but as a married couple to make it easier to, whatever. There's lots of non-immigration additional reasons that a person could legally enter a marriage relationship. But again, if the sole intention is to get a green card, that's a problem. Okay? And then, of course, that secondary question is, what evidence is there? See, the evidence piece of it, let me talk about that for a minute. USCIS has fraud investigators, and they do sometimes, they can go and interview your neighbors. And hey, here's a photo. Have you ever seen this person? A picture of your spouse, right? And oh, okay, the neighbors never saw your spouse, and so that marriage must have been marriage fraud. No, right? But if the neighbors never saw your spouse, that's evidence against the case. It's one piece of evidence that they can use. Okay? They can also call your spouse directly. They can also go visit your spouse at their place of work and request a signed statement about the marriage. They do these things. All right, you got to be aware of it. Okay? I had a case a few years ago where immigration showed up at my client's ex-husband's work. My client's ex-husband's work. And they basically demanded that he sign a statement saying that his marriage with my client was fraudulent. Got that? Immigration showed up at my client's ex-husband's work. Well, he was very uncomfortable. He was embarrassed. His co-workers were around. They could see him on the job site. He signed that paper just to make immigration go away, and they went away. Problem. Immigration put my client into removal proceedings. All right? They presented the ex-husband's signed statement as evidence of marriage fraud against my client. And now I saw that, right? I saw the notice to appear alleging marriage fraud. Now we're in immigration court. So I interviewed my client about it. I interviewed her ex-husband about it. I got to the bottom, to the truth of what happened. And you know what I did? I filed what's called a motion to suppress. I filed a motion asking the court to suppress that statement from the immigration case, because that was a statement made under duress. It was made under pressure from immigration at his workplace, and it was unreliable, and it was unlawful. And guess what, everybody? Guess what? The judge agreed. All right? We won our case, and that client is now a U.S. citizen. Okay? And so it's like, you got to know, you know? See, the thing is, marriages can be complicated. But complications in a marriage are not the same thing as marriage fraud. They are not the same thing as a quote-unquote sham marriage. You can continue to fight your green card even through allegations of marriage fraud. You should fight for your green card even through allegations of marriage fraud. Okay? That really is the point of my conversation today, all right? I don't know if I've received any questions anywhere. It doesn't look like I have, which is fine. But yeah, that's basically what I had. Thank you all so much for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. I want to conclude, as I always do, with a brief empowerment tip. Okay, we're talking about marriage today, all right? So, you know, I'm married, and this year I'll be married 15 years, all right? And, you know, marriage is awesome when it is empowering, when you are empowering in it. Commitment is awesome when it is empowering and when you are empowering in it. All right? My tip today is, if you are in a relationship, do not take it for granted. All right? Empower your spouse. Appreciate the differences between you. All right? Differences, every person has differences and nuances and unique things, all right? Those differences are cool. They are there to be appreciated. Yes, they sometimes lead to disagreements. Disagreements happen. But, you know, you don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to be upset by disagreements. Just label them, wow, this is a disagreement, and work through them. But if you're in an empowering relationship, please do not take it for granted. Bring your love to it. Bring your generosity, your energy, your passion, your interest to it. Make it last. All right? Because that relationship, I promise you, it can be the fuel to help you create the life you truly want. That's my episode for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your being here. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Land or Home Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. If this episode was useful, if this episode was helpful, please subscribe to our channel in YouTube. And when you do, please click the notifications bell. We'll get you a notification every time we upload an additional video with updates, news, and things of that nature. And as always, if you have an immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We are here to help. We would love to help. Okay? Thank you all so much. Hope you're having a great day. And I'll see you on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.